Okay, today we're playing a game on the Horizon Lunar Colony. We are in the Diamond SR range, and we will be playing Sombra the entire way through. And our current team composition is Reinhardt, Diva, Hanzo, Sombra, Moira, and Zenyatta. So Moira, not your ideal main healer, because she doesn't have as much... She's got nothing going for her in terms of utility, which just kind of puts her behind Ana and Batista in terms of effectiveness. The thing that Moira does have going for her is that she does a lot of healing. She, puts out very big numbers, and she's the most survivable of all the main healers by far. So, she's got that going for her, which is more important in, and she has to do some damage as well, which is more important in lower SRs than higher SRs. Higher SRs, you'd rather have an Ana. Not quite 100% of the time, but pretty close to 100% of the time. So anyway, that's all. Let's start the game. We're also on the console today, so consider yourself forewarned. So we've got to attack Horizon first, a, fairly tedious process, though not as bad as some 2CP maps. So we're up to no good. We're just going to put the translocator back here, and we're going to go up and touch the point and see what we can't get away with, pretty much. See if we can't draw anybody back as well. So we don't... Soldier does start coming back, and he wasn't actually back yet, but he did take a big bunch of damage, so you gotta just translocate out regardless. And... hey, might as well come back and touch it again. If they're not going to stop us, we might as well see what we can get away with, right? And we don't quite get the first tick. We were heartbreakingly close to getting it. So, unfortunately, we ended up not really accomplishing very much during that time. If we got the first tick by ourselves, that'd be nice. We did start drawing some of them back, but our teammates kind of died, so it didn't end up accomplishing much. And we spent a minute not really generating much ult charge. So, unfortunately, it didn't really pay off. So, Ryan's up here more or less alone. Zarya's up here with him. We got a little bit of ult charge out of bullying them, and then, hey, we just move on. If they're more astute to what happened, it's a little scary to continue playing around this health kit, because Zarya just watched our translocator particle go through the floor. So, if they're paying attention, we're definitely playing around the health kit right underneath them right now. So... that, as we can see, they're not really doing anything about it, but we did just, there's no ambiguity as to what health kit we're playing around if she's paying attention to the particle effect right there. So we come up behind, we hack Zarya again. Hacking Zarya, not, the most exciting tank in the world to hack, unfortunately. If she's got her ultimate, she's really upset about it, but, yeah, Zarya tends to not be as upset as the other tanks are. So we continue to play around the same health kit. There aren't that many great health kits on Horizon, really. Hack the lamp. Now the lamp's no good to them anymore. We were pretty brave to stick around this long, because McCree's coming right at us. McCree can only really be planning to do one thing. Now, fortunately, he fucks it up and doesn't actually kill us, but it was still scary to stay around that long when the man with hard crowd control is coming right at us. So we've very almost got EMP. What an excellent way to phrase that there sentence. So again, Reinhardt just watched our translocator go through the staircase. So continuing to play around this health kit is still scary, because if they're paying attention, they know this is the one we're playing around right now. But again, nothing's really happening out of it, so don't have to worry about it. That's the thing, there's certain maps, is that it's there's no questions what health kit you're using when you go there, right? Oh, McCree got a glimpse of us. We just gotta, jump right out. So we've got EMP. This is realistically the only EMP we're gonna get, because we've only got a minute and a half left. We do manage to pick off McCree before the fight even starts, so that's great. We, really need the EMP to, be pretty good, though. And we get the lamp. We got the Zarya as well. Just does 200 damage to Zarya. Didn't get Soldier. Soldier's using Tac Visor right now. We didn't have a translocator to go to once he started using it, unfortunately, because we used it to engage the fight, so... that's the thing with engaging the EMP with the translocator, is that, you'll get into a pretty good position, but risk of dying suddenly, skyrockets when you use your translocator to engage a fight, rather than engaging with just engaging out of stealth. Unfortunately, you don't always get the opportunity to just engage out of stealth and have your translocator down somewhere. So, got a lamp over here, and, Not really accomplishing a whole lot. So we captured the first checkpoint, hooray. Now we've got to build up EMP again. You know, unfortunately. They did just lose their Zarya immediately, and we've managed to hack Batista. He didn't get to use his ultimate, and they've just lost Ana, Doomfist as well, so they're pretty fucked. They've lost, like, their entire team at this point. They're trying to get out here to touch, but Reinhardt's getting bullied away, and Zarya doesn't make it in time. So, hooray. First checkpoint was kind of scary, but then second checkpoint, we just got a lot of picks right back to back, so problem taken care of. Great job, Hanzo. So, now we've got to defend Horizon, which is also a very arduous process to go through. We've gone for a very cautious opening, where we're sitting all the way back here hacking some health kits. I think it's usually worth going for the flank right at the start of the round as Sombra if you're defending, just to get, like, a little bit of extra ult charge. Now, we do know they've got a McCree based off of round 1. Well, they could have a McCree. We don't know they're going to have a McCree. They had a McCree. So it can be a little scary, like, hey, what if I go for that and then, like, McCree just rolls around the corner and kills me, but it's usually pretty risk-free for Sombra, and Sombra's #1 priority is just generating ult charge, getting picks if you can. So I like to go. I like the flank right. I was gonna say I like to go. I don't play Sombra. I like the flank right at the start just for building the extra ult charge. So Hanzo's got a pretty good idea where we are. You don't use Sonic Arrow. No. Storm Arrow, that's the one. I can never remember. I was like, no, Sonic Arrow is the sonar. It's like, he's got a pretty good idea. There's no way he's using Storm Arrow like that unless he had, like, a good idea where we were. We did see the detected as we jumped across. So, anyway, their push is not going terribly well so far. Zenyatta's in here. He's got Discord Orb on him as well, so he's pretty much a free pick. Our Zen's using Transcendence for some reason. It doesn't look like anything was happening. I didn't hear any ultimates, so I guess he just got really low and was afraid he was going to die. And didn't want to die. Which is understandable. But he is a robot, so he was never really alive to begin with, was he? So, they've got... they're using a lot of ultimates. Coalescence is being used. Tac Visor is also being used right now. We weren't really in a position to hack Moira out of Coalescence because we were kind of right in front of her. It's hard to hack Moira with Coalescence unless she's just not paying attention. And our teammates, it's not exactly going well. We have managed to build up EMP. Diva's also got Self-Destruct. Farah's got Barrage. It's not the end of the world if we lose the first checkpoint. 2 CP maps, like, let's be real, like 80% of the 2 CP maps is the second checkpoint, isn't it? If... like, that might be a fairly, like, low ball estimate right there. If we're talking about Hanamura... no, maybe not Hanamura. If we're talking about Volskaya... Volskaya, the second checkpoint is, like, 95% of the map. It's very rare I see the first point on Volskaya ever really amount to much, except maybe on round 2, after both teams have gone through a thorough tilting process. So anyway, we lost the first checkpoint, not the end of the world. We've got EMP, we've got a bunch of other ultimates to use. Reinhardt's almost got Earth Shatter, so they used some ultimates to capture the first checkpoint, so we've got the advantage coming into this one. We're going to use EMP right here. Farah uses Barrage as well. In hindsight, we get to say, we didn't really need to use the EMP because Farah's Barrage killed a bunch of people. Well, pretty much like as we use both ults at the same time, and we can see Farah was going to get all those kills without Barrage, without EMP rather, pretty much. So, yeah, you know, hindsight's 20/20. We came up behind them, we EMP'd them, we did our jobs. Now we've got to try and build up EMP again, though, unfortunately. Yeah. They do have a Hammond, so that's great for us, because that's just, like, a free target to bully, as well as, well, I was going to say it's free ult charge and then segue into bullying him, but, you know, bullying was just the first thing that came to mind. We can just really make Hammond sad to be playing Hammond in this game, because we're playing Sombra. So, McCree's using Deadeye. We did not get out of the way. We didn't have a Translocator down? No, it was on cooldown still. I see. So, sometimes you come around the corner and then, hey, he starts using Deadeye right there, and we didn't get back around the corner in time. Yeah, you know, life is hard sometimes. Fight not going terribly, but also wouldn't describe it as going well. Tried to hack Hammond, unfortunately he got his ultimate off beforehand. Hey, we can just hack him now, though. And, oh, very scary. Dropping kind of low, but got away. They're mostly dead at this point, so we're not actually under too much duress. I don't like chucking the translocator over there, because there's, like, no situation I'm going to want to go to that translocator in the near future. I guess unless everybody suddenly dies. That was pretty sick. Like, we got that guy good. He's upset. Good tracking. Wasn't exactly a hard track, but, you know, he's mad about that, because from his perspective, he was standing there full health, and then we just came over and just one-clipped him. He's mad about that one. Zenyatta players, though, funnily enough, you know, Zenyatta, fairly tranquil guy, but Zenyatta players, my experience, Zenyatta players are some of the saltiest ones. The healers in general are very salty players, but I find Zenyatta to be particularly true. Ironically, the healers I see complain the least is usually Moira, ironically enough. I don't know, that's my experience anyway. But I find Zenyatta players are like some of the saltiest in existence. We just didn't push Translocator in time, correct? Yeah, we did get bursted pretty suddenly right there. We are like pretty out in the open. I went back way too many times. We are pretty out in the open. We just like run right across this open space. You know, so like the whole team is kind of around us at that point, so it's a risky maneuver to go for. And we do end up just getting bursted to death before we can push Translocator. Translocator is one of those abilities that kind of baits you into that kind of thing, though, right? Where you're like, it's such a good escape. I mean, it's a great escape. Like, it's such a good escape that, like, sometimes you can end up going for aggressive plays. Like, it'll get me out of trouble. You can die really fucking fast in this game, though. Like, if you just get clipped by a couple things at the same time, you fucking just, like, 100 to 0 dead before you could react. So we have managed to build up Emp again. Moira's using Coalescence right now, but the two of the enemy team are dead right now, so it's not overly scary. So this is a risky maneuver to go for. We're just kind of standing out in open space, holding our hand out, like, I'm gonna hack somebody. And then Soldier comes up behind us. If Soldier's someone like McCree who comes up behind us instead, you know, we die for just kind of like holding our hand out, like, I'm gonna get somebody. But fortunately, it's only Soldier, so he doesn't actually just, like, kill us out of nowhere. And, yeah, it's kind of like walking around. I'm gonna get somebody. I'm gonna get somebody. We did get somebody, but again, it's kind of like walking out and, like, fully visible as Sombra, just walking around out in the open is scary. So Winston's using Primal Rage. If we can hack him, he's really sad about it, but he's kind of, like, on to roughly where we are, which makes it a little harder. How dare he? The close-ranged hero get closer to us. Frankly, upsetting. So there's Hammond. We would like to hack Hammond, but he's just getting the fuck out of dodge. Oh, great job. That Transcendence didn't really accomplish a whole lot there, did it? Great job, Roadhog, though. Brought the Hammond right back to us. We don't have a Translocator down anywhere. Didn't really... Oh, God, it's okay. We got away. We got away. They got very scary very suddenly. I thought the Moira Ball was gonna finish us off, but we managed to get away with it. So now we've got Emp again. They've only got a minute and a half left, so with the Emp, that should be enough to, like, kill one of their pushes. They'll realistically get 2, because they're resetting right now, so as long as they engage a fight relatively soon, they'll get 2 tries. But if we Emp just decently, that's like 1 try, shut down, pretty much. Also, we've got more than a minute left on our time, so all we have to do is get them to overtime, and we can't lose anymore. We can only not win. So, we're in a pretty good position right now. Unfortunately, they do already have 2 ticks, which will make it harder to stall it out. So Hammond came in and dropped the minefield down. Soldier's using Tac Visor right now, right as Transcendence is ending, so, you know, excellent timing right there. And a lot of our teammates are dead. So now we're in a very unfortunate position where we're pretty much going to have to Emp while all our teammates are dead, because we might not get another chance. We could have just tried to hang around and, like, stall the point while we wait for them to get back to use the EMP, but unfortunately, you know, it wasn't looking good by that point. All our teammates kind of died before we had, like, a reasonable opportunity to EMP. I don't think it would have been crazy to try and EMP when, like, pretty much right as Hammond initiated the team fight. If we were in a little bit more of a better position, we could have maybe been in a position to EMP as he engages, get Hammond on the point, all the mines, which is, you know, nice to just remove all the mines and then make Hammond sad. Making Hammond sad is almost worth the price of an EMP by itself, frankly. But if it was a Doomfist, 100%. 100% worth making the Doomfist sad. But if we were in a position where we could have gotten him, and then maybe the people coming into the catwalk at the same time, even if it's only, like, a couple of people, that would have been, like, kind of justified, but all our teammates, like, really suddenly died. Zen popped Trance really early, and then Soldier was like, oh, sick, now I can just use Tac Visor as Trance is ending, and it all starts falling apart from there. So, realistically, there's not a huge amount we do to that. Unfortunately, our teammates just got, like, killed before we had a good chance to EMP. It's not impossible we could have been in a position to get a decent EMP off, but it would have been kind of counterintuitive given what was happening at the time to have done it. So, they've only got a minute left. They've only got a minute time, at least, so we're going around hacking all the health kits right at the start. Generally good to hack a bunch of health kits. Usually, like, I wouldn't bother hacking that health kit, because the health kits that are really impactful to hack are the ones that are, like, reasonably going to be used in a fight. This one's pretty far back. Like, if a fight's happening this far back, something really fucked up is happening. The health kit in this room is the one more likely to be used in a fight, so I'm not really bothered about hacking that health kit. As far as hack cooldown goes, it doesn't really matter, given the buff they give it, reduces the cooldown and all that, but it's just one of those, like, the opportunity cost of, like, well, we went out of our way to hack that one. You know, it's not a super important health kit to hack. So we see McCree is prowling off by the side. We're a little hesitant to go for him because, you know, we don't want to get fucking stunned and killed. Hey, it's okay. We just bully Zenyatta again. Zenyatta's very mad by this point. By this point, Zenyatta is yelling, if not to his teammates, to himself at least, like, someone's got to kill this fucking Sombra. God damn. He's mad at this point. I can tell you that much. I'd be mad. McCree came over here to touch the point by himself. He accomplished nothing except dying alone and sad. So, great job, McCree. That's how he'll actually end up dying, probably. Here comes Reaper. Their Mercy was, like, right there. I wasn't expecting Mercy to pop out. Reaper is a scary one to get into a fight with, but he's dead now, so it's all good. Hack Mercy, start trying to bully the Mercy. Oh, she's got Valkyrie. Okay, we got her before she could use Valkyrie. We could just hacked her once she started using Valkyrie, and at that point, you've more or less canceled Valkyrie. Like, let's be honest, you cancel the regen, can't use GA anymore. You've ended Valkyrie. Anyway, so they didn't capture the first checkpoint. Hooray, we can't lose anymore. That's an incredibly liberating feeling. As we can see by the timeline, we're going to win the game. But a very liberating feeling. I love being in this position where I'm like, oh, my SR is safe. I'm not losing it, at least. I might have lost, like, the last 15 or so minutes of my life, but at least I did. If I lost, I would lose then the next 15 minutes of my life as well, trying to get the SR back again. And so I pushed one of the number pad keys, which just takes you back on the fucking timeline. Sombra's got, like, one of the best dances in the game, right? Are we all in agreement that Sombra's got one of the best dances? Hammond has probably got the best dance. Because, I mean, his dance is pretty fucking good. But Sombra's is also pretty fucking good. Hammond's got the best highlight intro in the game now, by far. But only if you're using the new skin he got as well with the sunglasses. Have you seen the highlight intro when he's got the sunglasses on? It's fantastic. Oh my god, they knocked it out of the park. Unfortunately, it's one of those situations where it's like, now, why would you use any other highlight intro, right? It's like, why even bother giving Sombra a highlight intro other than hacked? I've never seen a Sombra player use a highlight intro other than hacked, because why the fuck would you? I don't. So Hammond's in that situation. Why would you ever use another highlight intro, right? Why would you do it? Why would you do it? I'm also a big fan of his victory pose, where he's eating the Reaper head pumpkin. That's also pretty fucking good. So we're up to our old tricks again. We almost captured the first stick by ourselves earlier, so I think it's a fair enough one to go for. I did catch that this guy was coming down sooner, because I saw him up on the top. Right there. We can see the tentacle coming over the top. It's a fairly narrow window to have seen it coming, and Zenyatta, of course, doesn't make footsteps, so he's actually the best flanker in the game, because you can't hear him coming. But I did actually catch a glimpse of him coming, and we got blitzed to death out of nowhere. Volley, very sad. Fight's still going well in our absence, as we can see. We did pull several members away from the team regardless, so we can say that we made this one, because we split the enemy team up by drawing them back to the point. Yeah, and then our teammates capitalized on it while they were doing that. Yeah, that's what happened. Good job us. We basically captured this whole point by ourselves. Hanzo got played there. What did Hanzo do? Okay. Oh yeah, he did kill, like, a bunch of people back to back, didn't he? It was just so long ago that I completely forgot about it. Good job, Hanzo. So, that's the video. We do have some questions in the email to look at. So, number 1. At the start of each defense, I don't know where to place my translocator and where to position myself. Should I wait to hack a health pack that I'm planning to use, or should I be hiding invisible and attempting a flank? So I kind of already gave this one away a little bit earlier, but I think it's usually worth going for the hack. If you attacked first and you know, or the enemy team played like some kind of crowd control-y people, like if they had a Bridget, if they had a McCree, then you might be a little bit more hesitant to go for that, because then you know, well, there's a chance that just a McCree or a Bridget comes out of this gate immediately, and then when I try to get a flank on them right at the start of the round, they just turn around, Bridget claps me, and I die, right? You might be a little bit more hesitant in that situation. But I do think it is usually worth going for, just because it's relatively risk-free. It's not, of course, 100% risk-free, but Sombra, like, the translocator is a really good escape, and if you can get, like, a decent harass in at the start, then that can be, like, a truly, like, ideal world situation. It could be, like, a 20% ult charge right there as soon as the gate opens, depending on who comes out of the gate, right? Like, I see, like, a Roadhog come out of the gate, I hack Roadhog and then shoot a clip into him. That's a lot of ult charge I got for relatively little risk, right at the start of the round. And Sombra's main goal in life is build up as much ult charge as physically possible. So I do think it's usually worth going for, but if you saw they were kind of CC heavy in the previous round, you might decide, not worth the extra risk, because if I fuck up and get caught by a CC, I die, because they're all kind of right fucking there. So, second off is, at the end I feel like I didn't have enough at limbs, 24. I know I tend to play and prefer to play a more tactical Sombra, playing more passively and trying to build Emp, get a hack over getting a limbs. Should I be more aggressive and play more alone? So Sombra's number 1 goal is generate as much ult charge as possible, so I don't think there's really anything wrong with that. This has always been my stance on the flankers, with the exception of Tracer, pretty much. That, you know, if you spot a chance to pick somebody off, that's great. Like, by all means, go for it, but that's the kind of thing that just sort of, you spot an opportunity and you go for it. You don't really walk around like, I'm gonna pick that Mercy right fucking now. You have to see an opportunity. And as you get higher in SR, it gets harder and harder to find those kinds of situations as well. Like, Diamond now, like, you're unlikely to find people just walking around by themselves, easy to pick off, right? We got to do it a couple times, but it's unlikely to happen, as compared to lower ranks. So I've always been of the impression that, like, it's nice if you can get the pick, that's obviously great, but ultimately the goal is build ult charge as fast as possible, because the flankers, this is why Tracer's the exception, Tracer's does a lot of fucking damage, and her ultimate is not as big money as Emp or Dragonblade, right? Or even Death Blossom, but Reaper is, like, weird as far as flankers go, right? So Like, Sombra and Genji have really strong ultimates, so I've always been of the opinion it's better to play for the ultimate rather than playing to pick people. If you spot the chance to pick someone, that's great, but ultimately the plan is just build ult charge, harass people, try and get a pick if you can. You know, Sombra, hack important people, bully people as much as possible, just find a tank, bully the shit out of him, generate some ult charge, and use Emp to win game. Like, that's how Sombra wins games, right? This is the thing, is it's like, how does Sombra win a game? She wins the game by Emping 6 people. Well, it doesn't have to be 6 people. She wins the game by Emping a lot of the enemy team, and then the team fight is free, right? Sometimes Sombra wins the game by getting a bunch of picks. That's definitely possible, but it's a lot less likely than just getting a big ult in a team fight and winning the game. So, similarly to Genji, you know, how does Genji win games? Genji wins games by building Dragon Blade and then killing like 3 people in a team fight, usually both the supports and a DPS. That's how Genji wins games. So it has always made more sense to me to play for that kind of win condition because it's just so much easier to do. It's very easy to, as a Genji or Sombra, just harass, go for picks if you can, build ult charge, and then just get your big ult in the team fight and win like that. So, no, I don't think it's that bad overall to play like that. You know, yeah, the more eliminations you get, the better, is safe to say, but just the way Sombra's playstyle is, how important Emp is, I don't think it's the end of the world if a limbs is fairly low. The caveat there, I suppose, is, you know, the Emps do have to be worth it if you're being less engaged with team fights overall, or doing less damage overall. Like, the Emps have to be really worth it, but, you know, you can't really predict that ahead of time, unfortunately, either, so. And then, last off is, with the health pack buff, do you think I should be hacking more health packs? I've stopped prioritizing them after the nerf a long time ago, but do you think it's more helpful to hack a lot of them in the long run? I think it's worth hacking the ones that are most likely to be used during a fight. Like, most points have a few health kits near them that are, if it's a payload map, there are a few that are, like, close to the track, not necessarily that close to the point. You get the idea. There are always a few that are, like, likely to get used in a team fight. Like, Volsky is the obvious example, right? Like, the health kit in the house, or in the shed in the center, on the room on the left, next to the choke point, and then the big one in the back. All 3 of those are likely to be useful during a team fight. So they're all pretty good ones to hack, right? Whereas, like, the one that's way off in the room on the right, next to the river, that one is significantly less likely to be used in a fight, so that one's not as important to hack, right? King's Row, the health kit in the theater lobby and the health kit in the hotel lobby inside the choke point, or, yeah, to the left of the choke point inside. Like, those are likely to be used during a team fight, so those are ones that are good to hack, but the one that's, like, in the building behind the point, that one, the big health kit in there, much less likely to be used during a fight, so much lower priority to hack. So I do think it's worth hacking the ones that are likely to be used in a team fight, which is just very map dependent, obviously, but, you know, there's usually a few obvious example ones that are big to hack. Basically the ones your team are likely to use. Well, what's another good example? Hello, my son. Here he comes. Dorado, checkpoint 3. There's the bridge, then the room on the left. There's the small health kit in that room. That one's pretty likely to be used during a team fight. Even, like, the big one in the staircase to the right back there, like, that one's not super likely to get used during a team fight. The big ones are obviously better to hack just because they're better health kits, but it's not in a great position. So, this has gotten very rambling and incoherent, but short answer, yes, I do think it is worth prioritizing the health kits, but only the ones that are likely to get used during a team fight. And, like, we talked about this a bit during Horizon Eden, where, like, the one we hacked way back in, like, the what the fuck is that, would that room be called? The terrarium? I guess the terrarium. The farm. That one in that room, like, is really weird for a team fight to be happening back there during the first checkpoint, but even during the second checkpoint, it's weird for a team fight to happen in that room. So that health kit's not super impactful to hack, but the one that's like right next to the point, the small health kit way closer, way more likely to be useful, so a higher priority to hack. So there you go. Short answer, yes, but it depends on the health kit. It is sad Sombra doesn't get all charge off those packs anymore. Those were some good times right there. So anyway, there you go. So thank you very much for watching if you did. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm more than happy to answer. If you felt I answered your questions from the email inadequately, please let me know and I will try to expand further. If you haven't already, you can join our Discord, ask questions more directly, have a conversation about them, or just shitpost with us. I've started streaming on Twitch Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, 7 p.m. EST to 11 EST. There's a link to the channel in the description below. And if you managed to make it all the way through the video and somehow still enjoyed it, please like the video and subscribe for more content of middling quality in the future, and I hope you found the video helpful. Say goodbye, my son. He's not very talkative.